Oh yes, legends, how's everybody doing? Hope you're doing fantastic. Let's analyze the situation all together here for the price of Bitcoin. Welcome everybody. Hope you're doing absolutely great, guys, today. Happy Monday to everyone. Let's say hello to the beautiful community and see what's going on here with the price of Bitcoin. Make sure to get your votes in on the poll. I want to know the opinion of the community here. All right, on the next movements, right? Are you feeling bullish? Are you feeling bearish? We'll be discussing a little bit of what is going on here in this zone from the lows of 60K to the highs of 72.2K that was created on the 8th of February. What is all of this? How long can this take? And is it highly likely to take out 72K or do we take out 65K? We know the probabilities, guys. We know the levels. We know the trading setups that we are looking for. Before we continue forwarding here with the comment section, disclaimer, this content is for educational purposes only and is not financial advice. The information provided is not guaranteed to be accurate or complete. Always conduct your own research before making any financial decision. Now, time for comment section, legends. And saying hello to the beautiful community. Let's go. I can see CBM here, the absolute legend, as everybody's a legend here, really. Okay, Nico Soapy, how are you doing, my man? Full house. We have the full house here. We do have, is Devil around? Devil, CBM. Guys, if you don't know who CBM is, or Devil, I mean, Devil's doing the morning updates here, so you know who Devil is. CBM, go and check him out, guys. Awesome guy, great content, good TA. He's in an epic short position. From 97K. I know most of the profits have been taken already, but that was such a sweet short from CBM. We got an interesting short from the man himself, Devil Trading. Inside of the trading community, we need to talk about that. It has to be talked about because if you're not in the trading community, you are missing out. You are missing out because that's where you have the meat and potatoes, the lower time frame, the intraday possible setups. If we're not on YouTube, we are inside of the trading community and smashing short position from here. We give some hints on YouTube of how the price could develop because yesterday we did talk about, you know, taking out those range lows, getting a bounce, fair value gap. I mean, you know, we can anticipate what could happen. It's all about taking the trading decision. So we did sweep up those higher lows of Saturday. We did get the bounce actually coming up to 70K region, right? So we did actually move like this. Are we in this movement now? We're just about to take out the range lows that we formed throughout yesterday and today after creating that low. So we swept the lows, got the bounce, lower high was formed at this 70K region. So not too far off when we were having our price action in this zone that we would take out the low, get a reaction here beneath these lows and bounce to then move down again. Más o menos. So we'll be discussing a little bit here. A little bit of how can the price develop, right, between today and tomorrow, and where are those hidden trading opportunities? This is why we're here, guys. This is why you need to smash up the like button, subscribe, and join the trading community. By the way, you know how to do so. Just send me the word access in Telegram. You got my DM open. Send me the word access, and you'll be getting a bit of the meat and potatoes, something that you know. I don't know why you're missing out because you literally have free access. You just need to sign up with one of the affiliate links, do a minimum deposit for your own trading, and you coming in here into the meat and potatoes. Lower time frame, Devil providing why we could reject from here in this zone, entering the trade, hand on hand with the community, explaining the risk management, epic short trade from Devil here, literally catching the high where there's a lot of resistance. I'm just there to back up his words as well. We were hitting the point of control of the range, golden pocket, testing higher low support trend. This is likely corrective. It was worth to take that short trade position. And Devil here giving literally his setup inside of the trading community. By the way, also joined into that epic short. I really went heavy on this because I know Devil, you need to trust this guy. okay? Even though I was, obviously looking at the same scenario here based on yesterday's video update, right? Sweep up the low, corrective move up to the 70K region, lower high in this area. It makes a lot of sense, right? To get that movement down, intraday setup given in advance. Much love to everybody. We'll be breaking down today the different scenarios. And happy days, guys. Happy days. We're starting off the week very, very nicely. We are starting the week very, very nicely. CBM, much love. Joan is here. Joan is an absolute legend. I think this is the same Joan that is in the community. He's providing insane lower time frame updates, all the scenarios, what we're looking for, levels. Absolute. There's very good experience. Elliot Wave analyst inside of the community, guys. And Elliot Wave is I think it's the bread and butter basically of how the price moves, literally. So shout out to Joan right over here, who's an absolute insane Elliot Wave tician, right? You would say. I'm sad because Bitcoin is broken. Let's just trade the markets. We are understanding that this range is just, this is a range. We want to trade the range, right? We cannot say these are very, very good zones to get into trading setups locally, even with a movement of $1,000, $2,000, right? If you can look into that high probability move, it is awesome. Now, I have to say, what I want to see for my next trading setup, I know there's high probability in taking out this low, so I wouldn't want to long where we are at the moment. Me personally, this is likely a corrective structure. The probabilities in taking out this low is very, very high at the moment. So where am I looking for long positions? In a nutshell, we need to break down here and find support in this region. We need to analyze the movement to the downside in the next 24 hours, right? I do think that this could happen. This is very, very likely. This is going with my thesis from yesterday. We're looking for a 3-wave move. Hopefully it's going to be an ABC. Hopefully it will be a corrective structure and we're not breaking down in a 3rd wave, which is possible, right? It is very much possible. But for my new long position, I would want to come down to this range, okay? Point of control. I mean, when you get the entire range here, obviously we're combining with Elliot Wave theory, guys. Market moves in waves. We need to detect which wave we are in, what high probability wave we are in. So coming down to this region, value area low, point of control, is where I want to see the choppiness. I want to see this price action that we had here for this reversal here, right? I want to see the channeling exhaustion in this territory between $67,000 and $66,000. That is what I want to see. I want to see a channel formation to the downside in this territory so I can get into the bounce, okay? That is the only level right now where I would be interested in a long position. And I mean, taking a short down here, doesn't make any sense naturally, okay? Taking a short down here where, we are getting supported. That's where we got supported today. As you can see, we got these highs, value area high. We're just getting supported from this zone that has been getting a reaction, right? It is a reactionary level, as we can see. So, shorting down here at support is not the greatest idea. Shorting here was actually not a bad idea at all, as Devil provided inside of the trading community. So shout out to Devil, by the way, who's an absolute legend. So we're going to break down a little bit. In a nutshell, I could finish the stream almost right now. This is the zone that I'm looking for longs, right? If you want more updates, we'll be in the trading community providing that, intraday entry point, right? For this setup. At the moment, there is high probability in taking out this low, so we need to see how we break down. When we do, we're going to start off with the higher time frame, guys, because I know the action is on the lower time frame, but we need to zoom out a little bit and try and understand where we at, right, with this movement down. But the most important zone, without a doubt, is from the bounce that we've got from $60,000, right? This is where I need to understand where we at, right? What waves are we in right now? Obviously, considering the bearish case scenario, because we are downtrending, which for me, the favorite scenario would be, okay, this. Fourth wave in, fourth wave maybe not in. Overall, we are downtrending here. So are we looking for this leg down to come in the next coming days below $60,000? This is what looks nicer, right, on the higher time frame. Downtrending market, bear market, right, for the last few months, even the last few weeks, very aggressive, highest amount of volume in this latest move to the downside that we had, right? Very choppy momentum. Wave fours are usually long and complex and very boring. They're great to trade as well, but you know, understanding the direction move, this could still range for another, you know, another week, right? Because there's still plenty of time. This could be a WXY double zigzag. It could be a regular ABC as well. We could go sideways here for a little bit longer and you form a larger complex WXY. You know, it doesn't really matter, but overall, the directional bias here still on the higher time frame is looking for a lower high, right? It is looking for a lower high and taking out the lows of $60,000. So where the interesting information is on the lower time frame. The interesting information is on the lower time frame, right? On the 1 hourly, what the heck is happening here? And where are the trading setups? I have to say, on the weekend, there was actually a good short position, which was coming up at the Valley area high. We talked about this impulse on the stream on Friday, where what you want to see here is the price losing steam, right? Losing steam in a channel here, where you're looking for a couple of 4-5s. They were pretty extended, I have to say. But, you know, that's when you're interested in taking the short, when you're channeling here like this after a big move. So there was a good short position here as a double top, very acceptable on Sunday. And today's short would have been a lower high in this territory, which is actually coming up to that point of control of this range that we had from Saturday and Sunday. You know, we are failing to get above this high volume node that was created on the weekend. And we understood yesterday that this could have been forming an impulsive move, right? I was in favor that what is forming here could be a wave 4, right? So the idea here was you got your 1, 2, 3, right? And your wave 4 on the formation here, and you form one more low just to get that, you know, 3-wave structure to the upside, which was, you know, given here as the technical analysis Elliot wave scenarios here on YouTube yesterday. So we took out those lows and we got the bounce to $70,000. Now, you know, naturally, this is just a bunch of drawing, but it's just the idea of the possible moves here. One more low, get the reaction, and that bounce, we are looking for a potential lower high here, right, at this 70K region. And, you know, naturally, that's where you want to be positioned, right, in a short. Now, we talked about the scalp long. You know, it was fine to get into a scalp long after taking out those lows, right? It's an interesting long. Intraday, just, you know, a little bounce. Most interesting short, obviously, today was that lower high, detecting that lower high. And what was nice to see about this is all of this little range. Shout out to Joan, by the way, because we always consider the bullish case scenario, right? If we have multiple 1-2s here and this is a third wave, you know, we could actually move in 4-5s in this region. However, when we consider the probabilities about this being a multiple 1-2, your wave 2 here already hit the 0.88 Fibonacci, which is, you know, really, really steep for a wave 2 when we take into consideration the Fibonacci, okay? You don't like wave 2s hitting the 0.88. It is pretty deep for a wave 2. So with that, you know, that's one of the reasons why. Also, one of the reasons you do like the second 1-2 to take out the highs, the previous one, okay, the previous wave 1. That's you know, preferred. Not that you cannot form another 1-2 without taking. You can definitely do that. But this was looking more as a corrective structure. And if you get that pop to the upside, you know, we understand very well that this could likely be a WXY or an ABC, basically. Three-wave structure. Just realizing that the impulsive move has low probability based on what happened in this zone. So, and you know, that's when you take your decisions coming into resistance. You're hitting the golden pocket from the high to the low, golden pocket to the 7-8 region with that point of control, you know, is without a doubt a zone, considering that what is likely formed with this price action is a corrective structure instead of an impulsive move that is going to be on the formation to the upside. One of the main reasons is this pullback is too deep for a wave 2. So we understand that this short was very, very good, very nicely executed by the man himself, Deviled, in this side of the trading community. Remember, guys, you know, I really went aggressive into this short position, already taking profits at the lows of the range, because there is a sideways structure, even though the lows are likely going to be taken, which is naturally another take profit zone. But shout out to Devil, awesome start to the week, and you know, full guidance inside of the trading community. It's your chance right now to get in, guys. 2 months for free. Super simple. Send me the word access in Telegram. It's super simple to join. You just need to sign up with one of the affiliate links down below, or the ones provided in the Telegram, and do a minimum deposit for your own trading, and you'll be getting trades like this, guys, like the one here that Devil provided that I jumped in as well, giving the guidance, the risk management. If you get stopped out once, it's okay. We're protective. It is a zone to catch that high based on the probabilities that a lower high here is very, very high probability. Okay, so let's go right away with the different scenarios, and we'll be breaking them down right away. Quick hello to everybody as you smash up the like button, you lazy buggers. We'll be breaking them down. We are under 100 likes. I can't believe it. You must be joking. You must be joking. Under 100 likes. Oh, you know, almost 400 people watching. You must be joking. I'm pissed off now. I really am pissed off. I'm not happy with you, legends. Come on, you lazy buggers. I'm going to go through the comment section, and then I'll break down, you know, the levels of interest, naturally understanding that it can break down. It can break down. There's, you know, one scenario that does break down. I need to give kudos here to Joan inside of the community, because there is a way of fitting a WXY that could be finished right over here. And this is a WXY, okay, that finishes right there. And we start an impulsive move to the downside in the next coming days. It is possible. It is possible. However, we will understand how, you know, how we can detect if it is not going to go to lower prices. We know how to detect this. And this is something that I want to share with you guys here on YouTube. So much love to Nico giving that insane support as always. Joan is an absolute legend. He sees things that I don't see. And also that Devil doesn't see sometimes, because he does a lot of lower time frame as well. And he's an absolute machine on the lower time frame. How to join the community from India? Send me a DM and we'll sort you out. The current price action conducive for a WXY scenario, right? It doesn't look like an impulse because of the length of what that 2 would be. So if it's either an ABC or an impulse down or a WXY, we're going to break down all of the scenarios, okay, regarding Elliott wave theory and the most important levels of interest, okay? So bear with me. bear with me, guys. We'll break down many scenarios and where we have those hidden trades. Because yesterday, you know, regardless if this is going to be an impulse down or an ABC, we have the long setup on the reaction beneath, you know, the lows here at 68.5k zone, and the potential of a lower high. And you need to detect that this movement up is likely going to be corrective, which was the case with this price action that we had today. Getting an impulse start from here, where it was low probability. I mean, the probability is there, but it's low. So the main question now is, how do we break down from the lows of the range, which has high probability in happening at some point? How do we break down from this low, right? Which has been getting supported, I mean, resistance and supported here throughout the last few days, last week. Do we break down here like massively? Do we get, you know, first of all, get a little bounce maybe and then break down? Will it break down with huge amount of volume or just low amount of volume? I'm going to discuss how I want to see the price action moving down here, so we can detect if it is going to be a higher low potential, right? Because that's the next level where I'm looking for longs. Not long in here, because there's a high probability in taking out this low. So why would I long? You know, it's just, we need to wait for the movement down. Once the movement down happens, we got some information, and that's how we're going to combine, you know, from this high. Do we have just a simple ABC 3-wave zigzag? What do we need to see to confirm that we are likely going to get a bounce here, right? At the 67, 66k region. It's all about being patient and understanding the new information that is provided on the chart, right? Which we like to explain here on YouTube, of course. So it's happening now. Beatriz Espeño, much love. Singularity X, much love to you, my man. Andy, how do you have 60k in profit when price has only gone down 2% since you entered? Well, I went aggressive. This one was an aggressive short trade provided by the master himself, Devils. It is possible. I took this as a aggressive day trade. I will have swing trades that are the same position size. So this is the thing about trading. It all depends on what are you trading, as a scalp or as a swing trade. If I am taking a swing trade from, you know, let's say 90, you know, this high right over here, if I were to take a swing trade from here to take the lows, this is a massive percentage move. I will be risking the same amount here than the same amount from this day trade setup to the lows. I'm risking the same amount. However, this is a swing short position. It's the same percentage, and this is where a lot of people get confused in trading. The percentage amount of every setup is the same. It has to be the same. Okay? Doesn't mean that because this is a bigger percentage move, you're going to make more profits. It depends if you're trading it as a swing trade or if you're trading it as a scalp day trade. As you can see, when you see this trading setup, it looks incredibly small from this one. But the percentage is the same, because leverage and the movement, it doesn't matter. It is what you're risking. You always need to risk the same amounts, okay, on the trade setup. Are you taking it as a swing, or are you taking it as a scalp, right? So I actually, you know, I made about 50k profits from that short, okay, that was taken here. It was small. I had to add to the short and then we took out the lows of $80,000, and it was the same amount of profits that I have here on bluffing that was taken on BTCC that I'm actually adding still to this position. This is still active, taking most of the profits, still adding and squeezing as much as I can here with the lower highs. So it really depends on, are you scalping or are you swing trading, right? Anyway, leverage traders, it's all about knowing, right? It broke the trend. Leverage traders getting wiped like little muppets. If you know how to do it, you're doing just fine, right? I don't like to brag very much. I don't usually show my trades, but if we have to, we have to. So we try and give the little bit of the drawing and the scenarios, right? This is just a bunch of drawing, but if you want the follow-up, you have the trading community, of course. Okay, and it's super easy to access. Just send me that DM and I'll share the instructions to do so. It's over for the Bulls, says Axel. It does look like so. It does look like so. Okay. We're gonna be analyzing this movement down. There's no rush in any longs, I have to say. I'm not in a rush for any longs. So let's break down a little bit here a few of the scenarios, guys. Impulsive move to the upside, the most bullish scenario that ideally we would form a higher low from 65.1k. This would be the invalidation for this 1-2 scenario. Naturally, we're looking at this to be an impulse, very valid 5-wave move to the upside, very valid. WXY, by the way, we were good detecting that low right over here at 65k. Then this very good impulsive move, and now do we form a 3-wave correction? Do we slow down in this region, or we don't slow down? The moment we slow down is when we can be excited to participate in a long position. If we do not slow down, we go lower, right? So getting the slowdown is what you need to see. After a big move, the slowdown is when you know that you have a good chance in reversing. We're going to explain that, of course, because right now it's either 1-2, 1-2 for the bullish case. The other scenario is just looking for an ABC. So it is still bullish. However, it's not as bullish. Instead of breaking out in a third wave, 4 and 5, right? And you do go to higher levels in the next coming days. You literally look for an A wave right over here, the B wave and the WXY double zigzag. And here you got your wave 1. Very good impulsive move, I have to say here. This is an impulsive move. This is a classic impulse. We'll talk about the bearish case that Joan pointed out. I need to give a shout out to him, by the way, inside of the trading community, which, you know, he did detect that this could actually be the high and we come down to 60k. There is a valid count. But it's all about it's all about position yourself, right? I'll be more than happy if we break down from here, because I actually got into a very good short position here. I would be more than happy if we nuke down, let it nuke. You know, if we move down from this, with this price action, you know, take it down to the ground. You take it down to the ground. I'm not going to be worried for my spot bag, because spot bag is for the next coming years. I couldn't care less about my spot bag. It's all, you know, I'll be excited about the short position naturally, right? There is a bearish case scenario that does take out 60k and will be explained in the next coming minutes. Bear with me here, guys. These two scenarios, either the bullish one gets continuation in 4/5s to the upside. That's going to be obviously in the next week or so. The other one forms a higher low, but peaks out, right? 75, 77k zone potentially, right? As an ABC. Inside of this C wave, you only have your wave 1, your wave 2. Potentially, right? This is potentially. I don't know if this is going to happen. I know where I would want to position myself. As explained, we start dancing around now in the next coming hours here. It's going to be a great opportunity to step in the long position. Okay, point of control of this mini range with the value area low, which is sitting slightly below the point of control. We dance around here and we start grinding to the downside like this, just like we did right over here at the value area high. Then guess who's going to long? Me and you maybe, right? Me and you maybe, right? So it's all about getting supported and grinding here to the downside throughout the next coming hours between today and tomorrow. We start holding this range. Yeah, I'm going to go long. There's no doubt about it. If we get this, if I'm awake, of course, and I'm not sleeping, this has the potential of happening at, 3 a.m. my time. But I would be very, very interested in that scenario. Regardless if it is going to be an ABC movement to the upside, it doesn't matter. A, B, C, or the most bullish scenario, which is obviously, multiple 1, 2s, and then, we absolutely explode throughout next week, right? We want to be positioned, right? Because if you didn't long down here, or if you didn't long here, and if you do form a higher low, your next zone to long will be here, right? Will be here. I'll be pissed off, if the price, gets supported, and then, throughout next week we're trading at 77K, right? Or something like that. And we pump $10,000 in the next coming days, understanding that I know we can get a higher low here, but it's all about, what do we need to see, right? On the price action to step in as a trader. And, we know how to step in. We know how to detect it. And this is why we provide that education here. We all know the good levels, right? Weekly, this, that, the other. If you're looking at RSI, MACD, and money flow, and, market cipher B, it's time to move on, guys. It's time to move on and start reading the charts correctly, right? But yeah, it's obviously important to understand the levels of support. Value levels for me is, volume profile is one of the most important zones, important tools to understand the levels of support and resistance. However, the waves, it's all about detecting the waves. And the waves is how the price moves, right? Price moves in waves. And Elliot wave theory, has to be one of the most, if not the most powerful way of reading the charts and understanding, where the trading setups lie. My trading significantly improved after, improving my Elliot wave reading on the chart, right? Yesterday we were just discussing about this movement, 2 waves, right, in advance, understanding when and how we can bounce and looking for a lower high and then lose, literally getting this movement right over here as we speak, right? So, it does make sense. This is literally how the market moves. So when we talk about the long opportunity here, right? Because as mentioned, I'm not interested in a long here at the beginning of the stream. We're going to take out these lows very, very likely. And, let's see how we break down. We're currently breaking down at the moment. The main reason why we're breaking down is also because, there's not that much volume. We've got a bit of a fair value gap right there from the price action of Friday. So naturally, it's a zone that you either hold or you break down. So what is next, right? Enough with the fluff, right? And tell me what we need to look for, right? Some of you may say. Volume is, increasing here as we get this movement down. So I have to say, this is a little bit of a shallow pullback after the drop that we got today. It is a bit shallow. I don't like these shallow pullbacks for a wave 2. I think we didn't even hit the 382, which is, you know, it's not great. Yeah, it only hit the 236 Fibonacci. This is a very, very shallow. Would be nice to get a little bit more of a bounce here, if I'm honest, before getting this movement down. Doesn't matter. That doesn't, you know, it's still okay. It's still okay. It would just be a very, very shallow wave 2 here. As volume is increasing and we're moving down, it's, you know, it's crucial here what we need to see throughout the next coming hours between today and tomorrow, because if not, there's not going to be any long position to be taken, at least on my side. But yeah, naturally here, what I need to see, as we do have the volume increasing and we got a bit of an aggressive move down here, for the moment, I would want to see a bit of more follow through. I would want to see a little bit more follow through here. Okay, you got volume increasing, little pullbacks, but get a bit of more follow through. So this wave actually is slightly longer, at least from this one that we had today. Because at the end of the day, what I'm looking for is a finished impulse. I want to see this kind of movement. I want to see the price continuing a little bit to the downside, get a bit of a rangy structure and take out the low again. That's what I want to see here. In this zone, slowing down, bit of a rangy structure, a bit of a bounce, take out the low again, get a reaction, and get the slowdown basically at this zone in the next coming hours. Because, you know, if we start bouncing and holding and ranging throughout this 67, 66k zone, and the price does not continue waterfalling, right? And we do hold on and we dance around here for a little bit, I'm going to be very much in favor of this basically getting a pretty decent bounce back up. Okay, so right now it's all about being a bit patient. If the price bounces from here, then we're going to have to change a little bit of the plan. We're going to have to change a little bit of the plan. But for the moment, the most common scenario would be looking for a simple zigzag ABC, right? Where you have a impulsive move to the downside here, your corrective structure right over here, and now you're looking for the impulse in your wave C. The impulse needs to finish in a 5-wave move. The highest amount of volume, you know, you always want to give it priority for a wave 3 formation. And you have volume increasing from the drop that we had here just a few hours ago. So you want to prioritize that this could be a wave 3. Nobody knows at the end of the day. But if you do get that consolidation here, a little bit of bouncing structure, you know, what I want to see is a little range that I can label as a wave 4. Because yesterday, on yesterday's stream, we did get a little range right over here. Then I can label this as a wave 4. And this is where we came with the idea of taking out the lows, right? Getting beneath this low range, but ultimately getting that bounce. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? We could be looking for a 4 and 5 here. So I need that range so I can label it as a wave 4. So, you know, in this zone right over here, you know, we need at least, give or take, a 2-3 hour range. This is the 5-minute time frame. I need a little bit of a range after this, you know, stopping, so I can give it the possibility of a wave 3 and a wave 4 formation. Once that stop happens, as of yesterday, right, we got a stop here, so I'm looking for sweeping up these lows, if this wants to load, to then get that bounce, right, as a wave 5, and then you're looking for the corrective bounce. So I do not know if this is going to happen. But I don't need to know, right? I don't need to know if it is going to happen. I know if it does, I know exactly what I'm looking for here. So this needs to range, and it doesn't matter where it happens. Does it happen here, or does it happen down here? It might even happen a little bit lower, right? I don't need to know. Because after that range, you know, I'm looking for one more low and then the reversal bounce. Regardless if it's happening here or if it happens here. Depending on where this wave 3 finishes. Right? And that's the beauty about, you know, understanding Elliott wave theory, high volume. You know, this is just a zone that you just don't need to rush into a long. Could we V-shape from here? Absolutely. You know, it might happen, but it's not based on the probability side of it. You know, it would be an unlikely scenario, but could it happen? Absolutely. You know, I just don't have a strategy for that at the moment here to say we're going to long, you know, if we V-shape, I don't know if it's going to happen. I would say it's unlikely to happen. So if it's unlikely to happen, I just don't want to long it. If it happens, then it's a mistrade. What can we do? We can't catch every move, guys. So that's what we need to see here, you know, and that's going with the thesis, right, of, you know, we're getting supported at the value area low. We're getting supported at the point of control of this range, which, you know, it doesn't matter if we lose it. We can actually lose the value area low as long as it's choppy. If it's choppy, the value area low of this range, then that's the moment that, you know, I'm saying, okay, guys, remember yesterday, based on the theory that we could be looking for an ABC, you want a 5-wave move down here. We're literally in this zone at the moment, right? You know, we still need that little bit of a consolidation and one more low. So still need to remain a little bit patient at the moment. It is true that we are just hitting that high volume node. Just about scratching that high volume node of this range, which is getting a bit of a reaction. Slightly above. So we are gonna talk about what if the price does bounce from here, right? What if it does bounce? And you know, what we could be looking for. However, we're not going to go down that rabbit hole just yet. Okay, let's go through the through this 1 hour time frame, different possibilities that could happen. Bullish scenario, multiple 1-2s, you find support in this region, you still form a higher low, and the way to detect it is as explained, right? The way to detect it is as explained. We need that fourth range, wave 4, okay, that could be coming in the next coming hours, and then one more low. You know, that low has a very, very good chance of not breaking through successfully, right? When you're looking for a wave 5, you're really looking for it to be weak, weaker than the wave 3, right? And if you're coming down at support, which would be the value area low, then it's, you know, time to take a decision trade. You know, there are different ways of taking that long once you get the 4-5s. You know, if you want to get here and put stop loss at the low, you know, you could be targeting 72k in the next coming days. Or you could be looking at the lower time frames and, you know, really getting into a squeezed, you know, double bottom scenario, right? On that 5th wave, stop loss a little bit more shallow. It really depends, right? For the ones that have a, you know, 9-to-5 job, you know, naturally, if you do get that movement down, the 4 and the 5, right? And instead of catching the 4-5, you know, double bottom, you're entering here, your stop loss is beneath the 5th wave. If you're already getting that slowdown, you know, maybe just put stop loss down here, right? Always with the same percentage risk, right? 1 to 2% for the trade. And, you know, you could have a target zone of 72k plus for the next few days, right? I would say it would take at least 2-3 days to get up there, if that is going to be the case. But but the different ways, right? If you don't want to stay out of the charts and you get that slowdown already, you just like trigger the long stop loss at the invalidation here for either the multiple 1-2 bang wait, you know, breaking a third wave, or actually, you know, the ABC, which doesn't really matter. You know, they both take out 72k. So let's talk about the bearish case scenario. You know, I would really prefer that we do form a higher low for the bullish case scenario, because, you know, can we sweep up the lows here, right over here, and then get a massive recovery to the upside? And I have to say, you know, we absolutely can. You know, there's no doubt that we could do that. We could do that. However, I just don't like it too much. If we are considering this either a wave 1 or a wave A, if you already take out this low, just considering the timing and everything, you know, I don't like it. There could be a godly pattern. I mean, timing is still plenty of time here, really. Even if you take out this low for this to be a, you know, corrective move down. The problem is I can't find an impulse here. I can't find an impulse. It looks very, very three wavy. Yeah. I would be a little bit aware if the price does take out this low to get continuation to the downside. So yeah, anyway, let's cover the bearish case scenario eventually. You know, if we do continue breaking down, which is a possibility, right? We don't slow down at the value area low. You know, this is really the zone that you would want to get supported. Value area low of the trading zone. Maintaining this low to form a higher low. That's the ideal scenario here for the bulls. But what if we do break down? Say that, you know, we form a double 1-2 here, and then volume kicks in later on tonight. Bearish case scenario, and I need to point out here, this is another bullish case, by the way. It's just a double zigzag. It's the same directional bias. However, instead of having a 1-2, 1-2, 3, or an A, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to finish your C wave, you have a zigzag up, WXY, and another zigzag up, double zigzag WXY, literally. So a higher low here is looking interesting, guys. You know, I have to say, the next coming hours, the information of the next coming hours is going to be crucial, because this could be an epic swing long, because it's going to take a few days to develop naturally, to take out 72k plus, right? There's so many Elliot wave scenarios here. There's good support. We do have a nice impulsive move here. This could be corrective without a doubt. You know, it's without a doubt it can be corrective, and that's, you know, we are at that third wave, right? The ABC potential here, which we need to look for that 4-5 slowdown in support, which is the 66 to 67k region, value area low of this trading zone. And, you know, really look for that possible bounce. But it's all about being patient here. We need that slowdown. That slowdown needs to happen here. And I know a lot of people, you know, just long, just short. You know, I got a lot of impatient people. Attention span as well nowadays is very, 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 very small. So, you know, this is not for everybody, guys. This is only for a small percentage amount of people, because it's a difficult game, guys. At the end of the day, it is a game. You need to understand how to read the game, and it's difficult. And you need to be very, very patient, very, very patient on what you need to see to take those decisions. So I have to say, you know, the only way we could really be confident in that we're going to form a higher low here is literally getting that sideways slowdown here in the next coming hours. This, you know, there would be no other way to have insane probabilities on your side to understand with this sideways momentum that you have great probability, okay, to get that bounce from here. Good invalidation, unless you're getting the 4-5 like double bottom scenario. There's different ways in getting into this trade. There's the day trade that you get entered at the double bottom, literally. Your wave 5 gets back above the wave 3. You got a good entry there, with a tight stop loss as well. It just gives you a bit more risk to reward. And then you got your invalidation level, literally, which is the lows. You're still managing risk, of course, with that trade. But, you know, the moment you get the slowdown here is the moment that you know that the trade, the probabilities of getting the bounce is in your side. It's in your side. So we don't know if we're going to get that, but if we do, that's the moment that we, you know, I will, you know, take that decision naturally for the long position. So let's go with the bearish case scenario. I need to give another shout out here to Devil inside of the trading community, because thanks to Devil, even though I was very much aware of that scenario, we were anticipating also a little bit with one of the scenarios, which is an ABC or a 1, 2, 3, right? On yesterday's stream, take out the lows, get the bounce to 70K region, and Devil was just giving that follow-up inside of the trading community. And this was I went aggressive on this one. This short, you know, was aggressive, but it was time. You know, I haven't taken any aggressive trades in the last few days, and you know, the plan was ready. It was set. You know, even a few waves in advance here, we were looking to take out below 68.5, I think it was, and then get the bounce and then move down, right? This is how we're reading the waves here naturally. So I was ready for this yesterday already for this setup, and shout out to Devil, who today, based on this trade, was literally giving the follow-up, okay? As in, I'm taking it, being defensive, you know, stopped out at break even once, we attempt it again, and just, you know, taking the trade hand on hand with the community here. And awesome entry. I was just adding the confluence based on this short trade. You know, we got good confluence as well based on golden pocket, point of control, testing trend here. This is, you know, likely corrective. Your chance right now to get into the community, guys. 2 months for free, and it's super simple to join. Just need to sign up and do a minimum deposit on one of the affiliate links down below in the description, and we'll jump you in. 2 months for free. It's my turn tomorrow. Let's see if we do get an awesome setup tomorrow inside of the community. So other scenarios here, we need to talk about the bearish case. I'll go through the comment section in just a second, guys. Much love to everybody. Thanks for the super chat, my man. I'm not sure if you wanted to ask a question here. You need to put a question. Chow Pocket, unknown user. Chow Pocket, that's the golden pocket, or interesting that we are hitting the golden pocket here from this low to this high. Golden pocket, guys, the most respected fib that there is. Currently getting a reaction at the golden pocket right now. With that point of control, I have to say, you know, there is a point of control. I mean, you can trade based on point of controls and golden pockets, because you got a point of control from this range over here. Okay. And also a golden pocket from this high to the recent lows of early this morning. I mean, look at this. A bit of a range, point of control, and golden pocket, rejection. Bit of a range, point of control, and golden pocket from the pump. I wouldn't, you know, I'm not in favor of this long position, I have to say. This, based on what I explained, this, I think a slowdown here would make sense. This short was better as an aggressive short, because the probabilities of this being a 3-wave corrective structure instead of a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 was high probability based on the 1, 2s here, that this consolidation that we had here, this was lightly corrective. So obviously getting into a short aggressively here made a lot of sense today. A lot of sense. So let's dive in with the bearish case scenario, which is the high is in, not only here, but here, and also maybe even here. And we have road to $60,000, which is the lows that we formed here on the 6th of February. There is that bearish case naturally. And I need to give a shout out here to Joan, because it's not this one. Hang on a minute. Yes, it is. When we do take a look at the move up, I mean, this is the beauty of, I mean, sometimes you have so many combinations, but it's actually good. It's good to have many combinations. You can read the movement up in a 3-wave move also. You know, all had to do with this movement. You know, this could be a double 1, 2. It could be a running flat. Doesn't matter. It is countable as a 3-wave move to the upside. A, B, C. This movement down as a double zigzag can be counted as this. You got the zigzag here on the Y wave, or the zigzag here on the X wave, right, on the Y wave, but finishing the X right over here. So there is a way of counting this correction right over here. I need to give a shout out here to Joan, who pointed this out. As we do have an impulsive move here, we are favoring, of course, a higher low, right? And you know, get a movement to the upside on the bullish case scenarios, right? We got an impulse from this low. Having an impulse here means that you could have an A, B, C, or a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So, you know, we are liking the you know, forming a higher low here in this zone because we have an impulsive move here. And the only way you can find a bearish case, right, if you have an impulse to the upside, is fitting a flat structure, because a C wave in a flat, you know, needs to be a 5-wave move. So there is a possibility of a flat here where, you know, this is your high and you actually move down here 1, 2, maybe another 1, 2, and, you know, break down in a 3rd wave, right, in the next coming days. And it actually, you know, just really crumbles, right? You just start nuking down. And, you know, the high volume 3rd wave comes in tomorrow, or, you know, or after tomorrow. It doesn't really matter. You might form a few 1, 2s here, and then the 3rd wave breaks down. There is a possibility of this being the high, right? And it's all about possibilities. I'm not a fan of this scenario because you know, this movement down that we had in your wave X only hit the 50% Fibonacci, and this would be a sideways corrective structure. And for me, it's more common to get beneath the golden pocket to form a sideways WXY and then move down. Even though the minimum target zone is the 50% Fibonacci, Joan was pointing this out inside of the community. It is a valid, you know, a valid correction in a sideways WXY. And, you know, this, you know, the high could be in here. You just understand when we zoom out, you know, we are looking at the bearish case scenario. We are looking for, you know, this being an impulsive move to the downside. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, right? You know, there's just no discussion about it, right? We understand that this still is a bearish market. It's a bearish trend. We're just playing around with the local time frames here from the last week. But the idea is that, you know, we move down. Do we take out 72K or not, right? Or is this bullish? Obviously, if it is bullish, we want to be positioned at the levels of interest. One of them is here. Catching this low is difficult. I did not catch this low. Obviously higher lows with multiple 1-2 potential. You know, it is interesting. This is why where we are at the moment for this multiple 1-2, you know, I have to say we do have an impulse count here. You do have an impulse count here. This can be corrective. You want to maintain that higher low. That's your invalidation for the multiple 1-2, 1-2, right? You might get a small 1-2 here tomorrow, and then you break out. Not favoring the bullish case, but it is possible, right? And it's all about being positioned. So what I need to see here, as explained, guys, is that little bit of slowdown. You know, this needs to slow down a little bit more. It's too soon at the moment. And I'm not liking this bounce. Not liking this bounce for this to be a wave 3 naturally. This wave is smaller than this one. Volume did increase here. If you pump up, yeah, and you literally overlap the lows, then we could be seeing something completely different here. Yeah, one scenario that I don't like too much, but I know it's possible. Hang on a minute, I'm just playing with my fibs here to see if it is possible for this to be a B wave. It is. If we get up here, it's going to be time to take lots of the profits if anybody shorted here or shorted here on Sunday. If we get to overlap with this bounce, the lows, then I understand that, you know, we're not looking at an impulse here. Obviously, what the bearish scenario would be a multiple 1-2, especially if you take out this high, this lower high. What we could be looking at is a gigantic pump back to the highs here potentially. Right, so it's going to be time to take some aggressive profits. The moment we touch this zone with this bounce, you understand that the bearishness is weak. It's all good and fun to stay short and favor the short as long as the structure is very bearish and you understand the invalidations of Elliott wave theory, that this would be a sign of strength getting into this territory right now in this bounce. This would be looking at a 3-wave structure down if we move up here. If I'm in a short position from this zone, I want to start collecting most of the profits if we do get into this territory. Right? It's all about, you know, understanding who's winning, right? If the bears are winning, I'm staying short. If the bulls are winning, then I want to take most of the profits of the short and, you know, consider where I can look for my next long position. So yeah, I mean, based on that scenario, I'm not sure if Joe's looking at so many scenarios on the lower time frame, but if we were to pump from here right now, because this is a 3-wave corrective structure, you have a 3-wave move down, you are getting a reaction at the 1236 1382 zone from your potential A wave, B wave here. This could form a surprise pump, right, to form an ABC flat to then only roll over, right, the next day. This is only valid, okay, this is only valid if we get into this territory with this bounce, right? The moment you move up from here and get into this territory, which is in between 68.1 and 68.6, I understand that you are not forming an impulsive move down here or multiple 1-2s. You have a 3-wave structure ending with high amount of volume. You're breaking here the possibility of forming an impulse. In an impulse, you want to see this wave 3 getting continuation to the downside without getting into this territory. If you get into this territory, then A, B, C is very much possible. So naturally, if this does happen, this is, take a lot of profits if you are short from here. The correction is going to be, I know we're looking for longs as well. I explained the long position, what I want to see. I want to see that slow down here, okay, in the next coming hours, right? Coming down to the 66K zone to identify that impulse here. Still very, very soon for that to happen. You could have an extended wave 1, 3, 4, and 5, and then you get the bounce. This needs a slowdown, okay? This is too soon. But if I'm considering a long, if you get this to pump into this territory right now in the next coming hours, I would not long here, but I would really consider eventually the long on this correction, because I understand that an ABC flat here could be on the formation, right? We've got a bit of volatility kicking in today. 3-wave up, 3-wave down, and a 5-wave move to the upside. I will understand that this movement down, if we get this pump to this territory, is likely a correction down. It's not an impulse. So of course, if we're looking for an ABC flat potential, you want your wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, and you want to get into the third wave. However, you need your second wave to get positioned in this trade. This trade is only valid if we pump from here into this territory, right? Preferably getting up to the 68.6K level. It is a long potential. It would be a long potential on the pullback to the 50% Fibonacci to have that possibility of taking out the highs, right? For that ABC. And that would be very surprising volatility for everybody, right? We're dumping down, we're pumping up, and it's just going to be a little bit of a shit show here for the traders that don't understand that this could happen, right? And when it could start happening, the moment that could start happening. I'm not saying that this could happen. It could happen the moment you get into this territory here if you don't take out the lows. If you pump from here without taking out the lows, if you take out the lows, that's a different story. But if you are continuing this pump and you're taking out this area, that's it. We have a 3-wave move down. What could happen next if you have a 3-wave down confirmation and you have a 3-wave move up here? Well, that would be a flat, ABC flat. So this is intraday scenarios, okay? This is local trading. We cannot say that the high is in, we're coming to take out 60K, get into a swing long position because we're going to 80K, right? This is not the zone to look for that. These kind of trades, this zone right over here, basically. So yeah, it might be feeling a little bit confusing here, by the way. Might be a little bit confusing, but you just need to be active. Ideally now, if the price does take out the low, there's two options here. Option number one, which is the most bearish one, is a 1-2, 1-2 we absolutely lose it here with increasing volume, guys, right? We just absolutely nuke down. I am aware of this. I'm still not interested in the long position. This could be a double 1-2, even though this wave 2 did not overlap. However, if we do move down and take out this low at this point, it all depends on how we move down and we take out that low. So if we move down from here like this, boom, boom, we get the third wave move on the lower time frame with that increasing volume, right? Let's make this red. A little bit of increasing volume. We can change this. In the red. Just to get that volume candle. And we get that high volume in the middle. And then this is 5-minute time frame, by the way, right? And then we get this little movement here with decreasing volume. You could say that we have an extended wave 1. And that's your wave 3, wave 4, wave 5. I have to say, this is rare to get an extended wave 1. It is super, super rare. But as you're coming down to support here, it's all about understanding this latest move. If we do not break down here with a waterfall for that wave 3, and we start going down here like this, like very, very poorly, got a bit of high volume in the middle here. We start hitting 67, maybe 66.5, and it starts slowing down in the coming hours. You know, I would say maybe this is a 5-wave move down with an extended wave 1. They're never preferred because they are very, very rare. They're actually quite rare. When we're looking at an impulse, the most common is your wave 3 being the longest. Then the second most common is the 5th wave extension. And the least common is a wave 1 extension. And what we would be looking at right now is the wave 1 extension, which, you know, you just need to understand how it moves down here on the next move. If you take out the low and you nuke and volume increases, you realize that, well, this is not going to be a 5-wave move with an extended wave 1. So, you know, naturally you would not want to long it. You know, you would favor a 1-2, 1-2 here, and then bang, right? If you break down this low and it just nukes a few $1,000s with increasing volume, there's nothing we can do based on long positions. If you take out that recent low and it just really fires up here, moving down with volume spiking up, we cannot long this. We cannot long this. Even though you got the greatest support and your money flow indicators saying that money's coming in, you know, we could not long it. It need the volume on its own on the price action on the 5-minute needs to show us that it is slowing down. You know, the price tells you if it is slowing down. So yeah, if you were to move down with increasing volume, you just don't do anything. If you're moving down like this, right, in the middle volume, right, then you wave 5 and it kind of wedges a little bit here, then you know that, yeah, we can attempt the long. And the chart always tells you if you're slowing down or not, right? Got a pretty aggressive move down here, right? When we got that scenario yesterday of taking out the lows of the range, right? We're looking for one more low. When we go with the bounce of the range that we talked about yesterday, look how the price moved up. And I mean, this is great for education because, I mean, on yesterday's live stream, you know, we were favoring the possibility of a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, right? Take out this low of the range and get the reaction here, right? When we zoom in on that 5th wave, it is true that volume, you know, got a little spike here on the 5-minute, but you can see from the highs of this bounce, you have moved down, range, moved down with aggressive volume, range bounce, and another low. You know, you can actually see that slowdown. You're not waterfalling later on after forming this 5-wave move to the downside. So, you know, in a nutshell, you know, that's what you would want to see here. In the case of an extended wave 1, which, you know, it is rare. I'm not sure why I'm even talking about this, but it's a scenario that could happen. Of course, your invalidation here, as your wave 3 cannot be the smallest wave, would be the 1-to-1 when you get your third wave. You know, this would not be 66.3. What is in your best interest here is to detect that 5-wave move here, to understand maybe it is an extended wave 1 because we're slowing down and we got the 5-wave move here in this range. So you would really have to watch the price action on how it's taking that low, because for me there's two scenarios. After this bounce, you know, if you are still forming a lower high, you're literally not getting into this territory. There's two scenarios. 1, 2, 1, 2, boom. You nuke down, volume increases after taking out this recent low, and we go down to much lower prices. If volume increases and breaks and it just continues, then I need to understand that a double 1-2 here, shallow double 1-2, shallow wave 2s is the name of the game here if we do break down here and increase with volume. But if we take out this low and it's like this, lower volume, and as we take the low, it's kind of dancing around here, I'll be like, okay, you know what? This might be a 5-wave move down with an extended wave 1, which is rare on its own. But if we get this price action, you know, I'll be happy to attempt the long position in this zone. So it's all about how do we tackle the level? Do we tackle it with like nuking down, or do we tackle it with a very, very sideways impulse with decreasing volume, right? We might not get any of this, guys, and we might just pump to this zone. So it's all understanding, you know, when to get into the trade setup. We pump now to this zone, preferably taking out this high. This converts into a 3-wave structure. If we pump here and take out this zone, I would be actually interested in a long here, with the possibility of taking this high, because then you have, you know, the scenario of an ABC flat here. The C wave needs 5 waves, so this would be your first wave 1. I understand that this is a 3-waver, so, you know, naturally this would be my setup right over here. Anyway, I need to give a shout out to Devil because, you know, thanks to him also, we are in that short position from this 70k region as we got this pump here. Epic short position that was provided by Devil. Shout out to him, one of the coaches inside of the community. Thanks to him, we are in this insane short position here at the 70k region, and he was going in here with the levels, the possibilities, taking the short, advising about he's taking the short position inside of the community here. And also I was just adding a little bit of the confluence of the zone, a little bit of that guidance inside of the community. You want to take these trades with us hand on hand? You have your chance right now to get 2 months for free inside of the community legends, okay? Send me the word access. 2 months for free inside of the community if you want to get into these banging trading setups. Shout out to Devil. Shout out to everybody. Super simple to access, guys. Send me the word access. Sign up with one of the affiliates. Minimum deposit for your own trading. Jump in right away with the legends. Not much more has to be discussed in today's live stream, guys. I do see, you know, most important zone. Naturally, here's the value area low with this point of control. Next information in the coming minutes will be crucial to understand what other scenarios could develop. But I literally want to see the slowdown here. I don't want to see a double 1-2. I don't want to see a breakdown with high volume. Volume needs to decrease once we take out the lows again. If we overlap the 68.7K level without taking out the low, I will understand that this is a three-wave structure down. And we could be looking for a flat here. Still rangy. Looks like we ain't going to go anywhere as of yet, guys. Ideally, we do get that movement down here. This could still be a 1-2, 1-2, 3, 4-5, 4-5, and it slows down later on here in this region, almost taking out the low at the 7-8 Fibonacci. You know, yeah, we're going to have to see. We're going to have to see. Is this too fresh, too soon? But the idea of this being an ABC is still very much valid. You know, the problem here is we've got an impulse down. If this forms one of those really, really volatile, you know, flat structures, then you could get this. And that's the ABC, right? And you're like, what the heck is going on? You know, who can understand all of this? And literally you have an ABC, but your B wave is just being an aggressive flat in the middle, right? And then we go up, right? So you got people foaming in longs, then getting stopped out, right? It's just, you know, you need to have all of these scenarios, understanding, you know, where the best setups is and when not to take the trade and when yes to take the trade, right? Risk management is your best friend. Y wave towards 75K. I like it. Yeah, send me access, okay, Asya, and I'll let you know the instructions, okay? And it's for your own trading with one of the affiliate links, okay? Just send me the word here, access in Telegram, and I'll give you the instructions. But somebody's saying Y wave to finish at 75K, and it does make sense based on one of these scenarios, which is this one right over here, right? Y wave to finish at the 75K region, where you have a zigzag and W, WXY, and your wave X. I mean, this was pretty awesome inside of the community. We were like, you know what? We could form a WXY here. This was only a few days ago, so bear with me. You know, we're very much detecting that possibility of forming that low at the low 65K region, WXY, double zigzag. You know, is it the correct count or not? You know, maybe it is, maybe it's not. But if you come down and slow down at the 65K zone, you know, we know that that is a longing zone. You had that high volume node as well, just at 65K. So we were very much aware that this could form a low right there after taking out this low. We got the slowdown, we got the little range, as you can see. So WXY double zigzag, yeah, it is very much one of the scenarios on the higher time frame. Zigzag and W, WXY right over here, and a zigzag here for your wave Y, double zigzag. Right now we just finished our wave A, we're busy with our wave B, and we look for an impulsive move in the next coming days to take out 72K plus with a 5-wave move, right, for your C wave. Anyway, much love to everybody. Thank you for joining today's stream. Let's go. Sent you a message, Andy. Much love. Thank you. I will read your message right away after the stream, okay? Your wave 1 is wave A, and in 1 minute time frame we make 5 waves C now. Oof, you know, yeah, this is the thing about the 1 minute time frame. We want to be aware. Devil is the GOAT. He definitely is. He provided the epic short inside of the community today. Yeah, much love to everybody. Yeah, not much more. Sniper technical analysis. Devil, shout out to you, my man. Was just talking about you today with that really good short. It's my time tomorrow to provide an awesome setup for the community. Andy, I took a long on gold pocket and I may add on the value area low, stop loss below the low. I just think it's kind of worth it. Cheers. The golden pocket, I guess, from this movement, right? Yeah, we just gently tap the golden pocket. Yeah, be aware of testing the lows, right? Be aware that we could be testing the lows. It's an aggressive entry, I have to say. Just an aggressive, right, catch the falling knife into the golden pocket. But golden pocket, most of the times, does get a reaction, as we can see. So, yeah. Anyway, thanks for the super chat, by the way. Much love. Guys, thank you very much. I'll be back tomorrow throughout New York Open. Not much that we can discuss here. If I do see a trading setup, I will be informing the trading community, of course. What a banger of a short that Devil did provide. You know, I went aggressive. I'm super happy with this trade because it's an absolute banger. We actually talked about this zone on yesterday's stream with this, right? Get a reaction long and look for a lower high here. Possibility. Today, Devil was confirming the lower high inside of the community, but overall, you know, we just understand how the price could move here. Right now, we are trading in this zone. So let's see throughout the next coming hours if there is going to be a long or another short. We will be informing the trading community on Telegram. Send me the word access if you want in, guys. Thank you very much for joining. We'll be back tomorrow with more. Much love. Trade safe. Stay safe. See you tomorrow.